Let's see, maybe I can make it bigger. Okay. Okay. Okay, so yeah, somehow there is no function to make it bigger. Oh, there we go. Okay. So today's story is number 15, the log bridge that only one can cross at a time. When you have a conflict of opinion with someone, think of a log bridge that only one can cross at a time. If two people start across it simultaneously from opposite ends, they will both end up stuck in the middle. The first to yield with good grace is the happier of the two. The other one can also be happy if he crosses over with gratitude. The most miserable is the one who struts across as if he or she had a natural right. Cultivate the mind that yields to others. The unhappiest people in the world are those without a mind of gratitude. Okay, very good. Another powerful story that is encouraging us to engage in the first parameter of giving or generosity. And yeah, yielding is one of the 7 acts of non-material giving. And yeah, some people, they always bring up this topic when we share about yielding. When they have to deal with a person who is kind of toxic or very self-centered. So if we yield, they're going to become more and more self-centered. Yeah, that's true. So the point is, as a spiritual person, first we have to clear our path from, to the extent we can, from associating with people that, today they label them as toxic or exceedingly self-centered. People who always blame others. They don't take responsibility for their own actions. So every time something goes wrong, they blame it on you. It kind of creates a living hell. We don't want to be in a living hell. So that's part of our spiritual journey, to declutter. That's why we talk so much about decluttering our physical living space. Because the more we declutter and get rid of things that don't serve us well anymore, we can also see or recognize what those toxicities are, and if we can, keep a respectful distance from such toxicity. And if not, we need to increase our wisdom by listening to the Dharma to find out how we can overcome those toxic situations. And then the more we purify our own karma, the more we will be attracting people who are also purifying their karma. So it becomes much easier and more rewarding and fulfilling to yield to such people who respond to our kindness with gratitude, who reciprocate our kindness. And the atmosphere is always that of a win-win situation. Especially in these circumstances, when we yield, we are actually letting go of these ideas we have of temporary happiness. But maybe we don't see it as temporary because of our delusions of the heart. But we think, oh, if I need to stand my ground, I need to defend this opinion at any cost. And we tend to think that brings us happiness. But Buddha says it does not. True happiness only comes from confronting the root cause of our suffering within ourselves. It has nothing to do with other people. But in order to get to that point, when we yield and practice other acts of generosity, letting go of our egoic mind, self centeredness, we are coming closer to that true happiness. It's like while we are busy holding on to these temporary forms of happiness, oh, I'm right, or I'm better, my opinion is good. So while we're holding on to these temporary forms of happiness, we are missing out on the greater form of happiness that anyone can experience. Yeah, and then today's specific point is whether toxic or not. At many situations, there are cases where we find ourselves on a log bridge. So a bridge is like suspended in the air. It's kind of dangerous because we are at an altitude, high altitude. And this log bridge, only one person can cross it at a time. So if two people start across it simultaneously from opposite ends, they will both end up stuck in the middle. This becomes very obvious to a spiritual person. They develop that wisdom and insight. So the first person to yield with good grace, not to hold it over them, just with good grace, after you, I will back up. You go first. That person is the happier of the two. And the other person can be happy too if they cross over with gratitude. Oh, sorry for troubling you, for delaying your progress. I'm sorry. And I'm grateful to you. With that kind of attitude, that person also becomes happy. So it's a win-win situation. And if the other person doesn't show any gratitude because they think it's their natural right, they have this sense of entitlement to cross the bridge first, they will never find happiness. So we should only feel sorry for them and cultivate our own compassionate mind. Yeah, we should feel sorry for them, not angry. And this takes a lot of cultivation. It doesn't happen naturally. So we need to cultivate the mind that has a less and less of a hard time yielding to others. And then you suddenly begin to see a whole new wide world available only to this person who is creating that vastness in their heart by being graceful and generous. So, to the extent we practice this generosity, to that extent, our happiness grows bigger and bigger. So, good job, everyone, for being here, practicing together. Today is Wednesday, so we're going to have the Karma Lab at 5 p.m. Pacific time, and hope to see you there. Take care. Bye.
Thank you.
You're welcome.